people pre-ordered and put down a lot of money for the Roadster.
No, that makes sense. No, I'm totally getting Elon'd right now. But one of my Elons is never happening. I've been able to put that dream to rest. Kerbal.
I think that closure is nice, though.
It wasn't. Luckily, I never pre-ordered it, so I guess I'm not out of money, but I'm out of a dream. Anyway, that's my rant. It's a low energy rant, but disappointing.
It's a good first headline.
Still coping.
Go Sixers.
Go Sixers.
Another dead dream.
Hey.
Which will come first?
Yeah, Brandon Ingram can still save us.
What is good, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform podcast. I'm back. We're your hosts. I'm Marques.
And I'm Andrew.
And this time David's on vacation.
Yes.
David's on a sick vacation. I'm sure he'll have lots of photos of it that are way too wide for Instagram.
He's on a... yeah, that's it. Yes. They'll take at least 4 Instagram carousels to make it through the entire photo.
Yeah. So we wish him well with that.
We also have Ellis back, who was on a sick vacation.
Sup? Oh.
Well, he was sick.
Yeah, then the vacation was COVID.
But we're glad to have you back. One day we will have the full crew back on the pod.
Yeah, at some point.
At some point.
But until then, we have a hat here. And whenever you see the hat on Waveform, you know what that means already. That means it's a kind of a light but kind of a scattered week of news, which is just the right formula for headlines in a hat. I don't know why I thought music would play there.
We do need a headlines in a hat theme song.
Maybe. Is that what
was
played
that
last
from?
time we did headlines in a hat? I don't remember. But I think
that was from a trivia episode or something.
Okay.
It was from a trivia episode. It's the only sound bite that I have here, so I was like, screw it.
I'll take it. I like that. But as you can see, we've got some headlines. We've got a hat. It happens to be a Nova York hat, which if you're following the NBA this week will make a lot of sense.
Oh.
Yeah.
And if you're not following the NBA, I was going to say then listen to the Locked On Knicks podcast, but you probably won't understand that either. But
and if you're a Philadelphia 76ers fan, hang in there.
That sounds evergreen.
Yeah. You want to go first? Should I?
You do the honors. You're back.
Okay.
First headline in a hat. We have some of the best tech headlines, rumors, and leaks in this hat. I think there's 8 different ones today. Some fun ones, some hardware. What do we got first?
First one reads, all caps, Adam mad.
I'm mad.
That was not put on our outline.
Is it
Not
a
in the
headline?
outline.
What's this headline mean?
Who wrote it? The Verge?
I just thought it would be fun to throw this in there so you guys would have no idea what I was going to say. And what I am mad about is that I still cannot pair the Apple Watch with anything but an iPhone.
This is true and always will be.
Random little thing that I'm mad about. Like, I have my iPad mini. I have an Apple Watch. I'm not using an iPhone. I can't use it. It's just like...
Okay, so what was that thing where like to get iMessage on your Android was actually running a bunch of like iPhone 6s off of a server? We haven't done that for like the Apple Watch yet on Android.
Like a virtual machine iPhone on your Android phone?
That pings it back to your Android phone?
That would be Apple's worst nightmare.
Apple's already ready to take that down.
Yeah. No, that's classic Apple leverage. Their goal is to make the Apple Watch so good that you want to switch to the iPhone just to use the Apple Watch. And that's kind of true about some other products they already have in their ecosystem. This is why we call it a walled garden. If you love AirPods and all the features with AirPods, you can't really have all of those great features. I mean, it'll work as like regular Bluetooth headphones, but most of those great features only work if you have an iPhone. And so if you see those features, you get the iPhone to get them. And then once you have both, that's twice as hard to get out because I don't want to get rid of this nice pair of headphones, so I'm going to stick with the iPhone instead of just leaving the iPhone.
Adam, what would you be okay with? What features would you be okay with losing? Let's say if it was like Apple Watch was like AirPods and it could work on your Android phone, but you had to lose some of the features. What would you be okay losing? And what do you really want?
I would assume that I'm automatically going to lose iMessage. So that's fine because I'm on Android.
So you'd be no text notifications?
No text notifications. Like no messaging, period. I'd be okay with that. I literally want it just to be a watch, obviously, tell me the time. And
that's all it does.
And then
if only they made those.
My health metrics, like tracking my workouts and things like that, it goes to Apple Health.
Apple Health.
And that is on Is it on iPad? I don't think that's on iPad.
It is just recently. I think the latest version.
There is. Okay, but
Yeah.
can you sync the Apple Watch to the iPad? It has to be synced to a phone first,
right.
I believe. And then it cannot go to the iPad. So it's like that little like half step off is just like so annoying.
So you would be okay if you could just set up your Apple Watch on your iPad, let it locally store your data, and then sync it at night to your health metrics on your iPad?
Yeah, exactly. I'd be completely okay with that.
That's
fine.
But see, that
Crazy
would allow you to not have an iPhone, which is not cool with Apple.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Since we're doing the Adam Mad headline, and I just thought of something this morning that I was mad at that was very small.
Please go.
Does anyone else have any ones? Can we all do one small thing we're mad at, tech-wise?
I'm cool with that.
Okay. Why can you right-click in Google Docs to see copy, paste, and different formats of that, but can't click them? You have to use shortcuts. And I know that sounds really stupid because like Command C, Command V is very easy, but there's one called paste without formatting that I really like because sometimes if you copy text from, it feels like Discord does it a lot, but it'll copy it with like a black background and white text. And rather than changing that, I just want it to be formatted how my doc is, but I never remember the shortcut for that. It's Command Shift V, by the way. And if you just try and right click and paste without formatting, all it does is bring up a little pop-up that says copy and pasting in Google Docs. These actions are unavailable using the edit menus, but you can still use shortcuts, but then it only does copy, cut, and paste, not paste without formatting.
Mine worked just now.
You have
Right-clicking?
You have to install a Chrome extension for that to work.
That's going to be hard in
Yeah,
Firefox.
I believe so. Well, I think it would work in Firefox.
Another thing I'm mad about Firefox and YouTube in the last week have just been butting heads, and it is basically impossible to play a YouTube video on Firefox. With some update that YouTube did, I tweeted about it and got like 150 comments of people having the same issue and that it's a known issue. I don't know what they changed, and Firefox is working on it, but the amount of times it buffers or the video pauses but the audio plays, skipping around is basically impossible. All of that happened in the last week.
Wait,
and
I have a question.
Yeah.
I've known you've used Firefox for a while, but
Why?
why?
It all started when I was a young warthog. No, just when I was doing IT, my director like used Firefox as well, and I was like, I remember using that once, and I started using it, and just I don't like change, and I just kept using it. I usually have a Chrome window open with like maybe like some other things so I can like separate windows and such, because I don't like separating in the same app because then I can't click the icons on the bottom to select which windows specifically, at least in one click.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just still use Firefox.
Because I feel like Firefox
to be
might
cool and
be
different.
like a 2%, 1% market share at this point.
It's pretty low.
And I feel like the best browsers, because of their huge market share, get all the great features and support. And I don't think Firefox is going to get any better.
I think Firefox gets features and support. It's,
But like
it's
these
popular enough.
issues with YouTube or issues with sites that don't load properly probably won't get priority fixed anytime
I
soon.
think Firefox is fixing because it's just, I wish I dug deeper, but everything I tried to read about this was extremely hard to understand why it's not working.
According to this website, Stat Counter, Firefox is 2.82%.
There's
higher than
dozens of us.
higher than
Yeah, I don't know. I like it.
Okay.
Why you gotta harp on me like
No,
that,
I'm just
man?
curious because I've switched browsers recently. I moved from I was a Safari on Mac person to Chrome, and now I'm using Arc, which is I guess built on a similar engine, but it's got all this Chrome extension support, but all these other features that I like, and I just find it great. So I'm just curious.
I think
if you would
Firefox
switch.
has more users than Arc, but you're saying it's like
True.
it's like
But
compatible
It's
with
got all
Chrome
the
stuff.
features
Yeah.
of Chrome, so it feels like Chrome.
I just like it. I like to be different. And
That's fair.
and cool. I don't think it is.
Built
Yeah,
on a WebKit.
like Safari.
Quantum browser engine.
Oh,
that
See, there's
sounds
a problem right
that sounds
there.
way cooler than Chromium. just
sounds
saying.
cool, but breaking YouTube.
Do you know what else is built on Chromium? Edge.
Touche.
What do you mean?
I'm trying to think of something I'm mad at. I like
Or-
that as a topic, but I can't
I like
think of
it.
anything.
A small thing. We could just bring it up later if one of these
Fair, okay.
headlines.
Yeah, keep
Ellis,
thinking
do you have
about it. Back to
anything? Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
do.
got something.
And this is just maybe less a specific thing and more just like part of the punishment we're all receiving for living in the future. But in 2019, maybe like 2020 or somewhere around there, the sequel to my favorite video game ever was announced, Kerbal Space Program 2. Around that same time, my favorite synthesizer company announced their next synthesizer. Both of these companies said we will be releasing our project in 1.5, 2-ish years. Yeah, it is almost 5 years since then. My friend, shout out to you, Ian, if you're listening. We, for years now, we're like, which one's going to come out first? We know we want both. And I don't know, if you're in the Kerbal Space Program community, you now know that Kerbal Space Program 2 borrowed too much code from Kerbal Space Program 1 for them to be able to implement all of the features that they promised when they announced the game, like the Kerbal Space Program 1 architecture. It just isn't capable of making. So the publisher fired everybody at the studio and shut it down, and is not... I don't know if they're refund. I think they are giving some refunds for pre-orders, like if you played the game for less than I don't know how it works. And then for the synthesizer, and I'm not trying to knock the synthesizer company LZX because they are a very small business that makes incredible things. Lars, the owner, rocks. But he hasn't updated the production blog. And, my pre-order, I pre-ordered it. It was announced in early 2020. I pre-ordered it in November of 2022. So
Marquez is sitting here with a $200,000 Roadster. He's been waiting 7 years for. He's like, first time.
Can relate.
wait, 7 years?
Can relate.
Wait, why did it-
2017?
Why did it take so long?
Well, it's still that.
Why? Yeah, you're acting like it's out.
The Tesla Roadster. The Tesla Roadster. I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
your Porsche. I was like,
Oh,
you
no.
waited
No, the
7 years for that?
people pre-ordered and put down a lot of money for the Roadster.
No, that makes sense. No, I'm totally getting Elon right now.
Yeah.
But one of my Elons is never happening. I've been able to put that
The
dream to
Kerbal.
rest. Kerbal.
I think that closure is nice, though.
It wasn't. Luckily, I never pre-ordered it, so I guess I'm not out of money, but I'm out of a dream. Anyway, that's my rant. It's a low energy rant, but disappointing.
It's a good first headline.
Still coping.
Go Sixers.
Go Sixers.
Another dead dream.
Hey.
which will come first?
Yeah, Brandon Ingram can still save us.
I'm gonna hold up a hat.
All right,
you
and just
pick a
remember, you have
headline.
to think of something you hate.
I'm thinking
by
of
the
it.
end of
I have
this.
it next to me to remind me to think
Okay.
about something to hate.
I got Ellis rant. Is that the rant? Did you just do it?
How did you guys get those are supposed to come up randomly throughout the episode. You got them 1 and 2.
Yep.
Was that your rant?
I was trying to think if I had a second one, but I'm feeling really chill lately. I don't know. Everything's pretty good, other than my
got-
missing synthesizer in the video game. It's
Okay,
like-
so
Just grab another one.
this happened already.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay. So
Okay, I'm
you pick
repicking,
another.
yeah.
Reselect your draft pick.
Okay, iOS icon tint upgraded. This should have a question mark on it because it's a little dicey on how upgraded it is.
Okay.
Did you see
So,
this?
Yeah. Fundamentally, what happened is iOS 18 got announced. You guys all saw that. And then we saw that there's this feature where you can tint all of the icons on your home screen the same color to kind of matchy. And like you have a wallpaper that kind of looks cool with it. And that's your customization happening. And then people started playing with it after the keynote. And many of the tinted icons look horrible. They had legibility issues. They had like weird color tints that didn't look right, or they would like blend together. Just looked horrible.
I think the issue is that like when everything they showed were icons that are super simple, like iMessage is just 2 colors in a bubble.
Right.
But then you get things like Maps, which has a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different lines, but something that still needs to be legible. And when you pick a color like green, it just kind of makes it a bunch of different shades of green and mostly aims lighter. And the contrast is like very hard to tell the difference between things.
Yeah. So iOS 18 beta 2 just came out, and people are testing it. And now we're seeing screenshots of some updates to some of these apps that looked horrible before. A little better contrast, a little better looking with the same tint.
Yeah.
Upgrade, sure. Does it look good now at this point? I don't think I can say that yet.
I think it looks better, and I think it's on the right direction.
I think my hot take is the only acceptable tint is just monochrome, meaning black and white.
I like some of the tint colors.
Have you seen a good looking tint color? I haven't seen a good looking tint color yet.
I loved the tennis ball one that they showed on stage.
What was the tennis ball one?
They showed it on stage, so it was all really good ones, but it was, I think Craig showed it off. It was like his dog with a bunch of tennis balls, and then all the icons were like that tennis ball highlighter yellow color. But I think I really just like crappy colors like that.
This is not what decorating is. Decorating, it's just like even in this room, okay, where we have an unbelievably limited color palette in this room, right? There are still 5 colors. There's white, black, 3 grays, and red, which I think is 6. What
So
the heck?
You want more colors, is what you're saying.
This is dumb.
I think these are just like.
I think you should be able to do whatever you want in your home screen. I think you should be able to color however you want. You should make the battery whatever text, whatever color you want. This is like the worst thing they could have given us to customize our phones.
It really is weird. Like on a lot of Android phones, you can change everything about your home screen. And not just your home screen, you know, the icons at the top of the phone, you can change which ones show up when. You can choose if your battery is a circle or a bar with the text in it or the text next to it. You can change where the time goes. You can change if it shows 5G and the VoLTE text or just the 5G bars. Like you can change everything. And then on the iPhone, it's like, all right, you can turn them all one color if you really want to.
Okay, so let's get the record straight here. The last time we talked about this, some people were like upset that we were mad about customization. We're not mad about customization. We're mad about how little customization they gave in the giving customization.
Yeah, it's like faux customization.
It's
if you lived in a house that had no kitchen and you begged your landlord for a kitchen for years, and he gave you entire new houses to live in, but none of them had a kitchen. And then one day he's like, hey, I bought you an Easy Bake Oven. You'd be pissed as hell.
You talking about how it's just like colors, but it's just one color in different ones.
Yeah.
You both missed this last week, but David had this like blue Surface Pro. And he was like, Andrew, it matches your hat. And they were just the most opposite colors of blue ever. And all it was just that they were blue. And there were so many comments that are just like, this is the epitome of like men thinking colors match. Just like they are both blue.
I think my ratio of good home screens I've seen to bad home screens with iOS 18 is like 5 to 1, bad to 1.
But it's mostly because you want to make your home screen look better and you don't feel like you're getting the adequate tools to making your home screen
I
look
think
nice.
I can make a good-looking home screen, but I can make an extremely limited number of good-looking home screens, where on Android, I can make a wide variety of good-looking home screens.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
The way David put it, because we were texting after the episode 2 weeks ago about this, and he was just saying that Apple just implemented it poorly, and he thinks people don't realize how poorly they
I think
this.
we're excited that it's customization, but we would be way more excited if it was better implemented customization.
I think if you work at Apple, the balance they're trying to strike is it has to also be easy to use. And if you ask a regular person who's not really into customization to do what we've been doing for years on Android phones, they wouldn't really enjoy it or figure it out quickly or even want to do that. So Apple's giving people extremely easy to use tools. It's like 2 button presses and a slider away, and you just slide to the color you like. That's good UI. That's good design. This is supposed to be customization here. So that's like a very hard design challenge, is to give people the ability to go nuts without giving them all the tools to completely break and ruin everything or get lost and confused. So it's hard. It's a hard UI thing to do.
On the bright side, I think people are going to love it.
They're going to play with it a lot, and then a week later they'll forget it exists.
Yeah, but then you'll grab like your aunt's headphones. You'll grab your aunt's iPhone and like 3 months and it'll still be that same shade of purple that she did way back when, and she's just gonna be
Does it auto update when you change the I guess no one's had it for that long because it's still just the beta, but like if you set it to a color of what your background is and you change your background, does it auto update it? Or when your uncle or aunt change it to green to match this like landscape background, but then change that background to a picture of
it'll stay that green.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna see.
I also just want to say I'm willing to die on this hill with my opinions, but I also recognize that I'm clearly wrong about this. Like the amount of pain people put themselves through with the shortcuts to customize their icons, and clearly still felt like it was worth it. Like clearly this matters to people, so I'm not going to be like, you're dumb if you like this. Because again, clearly I'm in the minority here, but
Yeah.
I do not think this is a cool.
We are in the old man yells at cloud stage for this.
Yeah.
And embracing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on an Android, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Here's one last thing to think about. What fraction of iPhone users do you think were using the Siri shortcut hack to customize their icons versus what fraction of iPhone users will change the color on their home screen now that it's easy?
You're saying more people are going to change the color of the... Yeah, 1,000%.
I think there's a tiny fraction of a percent of people who were like, I need to change the icon for my weather app to match my perfect setup and would be willing to do this stupid Siri shortcuts hack to do it. And they heard that and they were like, all right, customization seems to be something that some people want. And then they gave people this. And a few people are going to use it.
In 5 years, maybe it'll be fully customizable.
I doubt it. It's Apple. I doubt it.
But to tack on the iOS 18 Beta 2, for select carriers, RCS is officially enabled. And there are some people using iMessage and sending RCS messages.
And I'm supposed to be happy about that. So
I mean, I'll be happy about it when just like it makes it
should be.
easier for when somebody with an iPhone sends me a video and thinks I'm seeing the full quality of it, because
that'd be nice.
maybe I'll see a better quality of it.
I think I saw somebody had like green bubbles, but typing indicators was working. And I was like, oh, nice. Something better.
Honestly think it'll be better for us as Android users, and
Of course.
people on iPhone won't know the difference at all.
Yeah. And then you'll get a 12 by 12 PNG of a generated emoji
I'll take it if I
poop-warning
can actually
sunglasses.
tell what the video my like aunt is sending me. Finally.
Fair.
Cool. Next headline.
You pick? Or no, I pick.
you pick,
just
you
pick.
pick,
Okay.
yeah.
New headline and a hat.
One more than a break.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
This one reads Surface Duo 3 question mark.
Did you see this?
So I did see this. Little refresher if you don't know. Surface Duo 2, sequel to the Surface Duo 1. The first Surface Duo was one of the most iconic phones of our generation. And by iconic, I mean unique in a way.
This is going to be our most engaged podcast episode ever, I think.
The Surface Duo was a I can't say smartphone, right? They didn't call it a phone. They said it was a device. It was a Microsoft device that had 2 screens and it was very thin and beautiful and worked very poorly.
I don't think that's what they said.
That's what it was. And the one sequel they got to was the Surface Duo 2, which had some improvements. It had a slightly better camera. They made some changes to the hardware, a little bit of a curve at the inside screen, but it didn't really change all that much, and it flopped, and it's dead, and it's gone. And now there's an article showing that there were some filed patents by Microsoft that show a design for a folding phone that could have potentially been the Duo 3 if it ever came out. And it looks similar again. There's a full-size rectangle on the back for a larger camera. There's like a little magnetic kickstand accessory.
Yeah, well, I think it's supposed to be a folding screen this time, is what the article seemed to portray to. It is much different. It looked like it conformed to the folding phone.
That it's
form
not
factor.
a Duo.
True.
It's also
the
really
Duo
funny
is
that it's
the
called the Duo 3. That's the best
It's called
name
the
in
Duo
world.
3 and it has one screen.
I wanna-
I guess
Wait, that's
technically-
perfect.
Oh,
One
no, no,
screen,
no.
Duo 3.
I
It's
think
a
it has a
1, 2,
screen
3.
on the front though now.
Whoa.
We have
Are
strayed,
all folding phones a Duo?
we have strayed so far from the light of God. And by the light of God, I mean the original purpose of the Microsoft Duo.
I want to now double check that because I'm pretty sure it said folding screen in this.
It says the cover screen and the inside foldable screen were edge to edge. So that's at least in this patent. This isn't necessarily ever going to be a real product. It's just a patent.
And we'll never know if what we're saying is real or fake. So
Exactly.
Speculate, baby.
I mean, people had all kinds of feelings about the Surface Duo. I think inherently it was flawed for a couple of reasons. One probably being the aspect ratios of the screens and the sizes of it in general. One probably being that it was an Android device, and that had its own set of challenges with making a 2-screen Android device with like blending and bezels and pixels and all those challenges. One being, how much did it retail for? Surface
Wasn't it like
Duo.
It was at least $1,300.
Launch
I thought
price.
it was closer to 15.
It was $13.99
Okay.
to start, so that being another challenge. And then another just being it was buggy and didn't work very well. And some
that
people
was the
did
main.
make it work. I did see Believe me, I saw the comments.
Yeah.
People who made it work for their lives, and they were like, yes, the Surface Duo is exactly what I need in my workflow. I prop it up, I use the side screen thing, I flip it over, I use it on single screen. Who cares that the bezels are huge and the aspect ratio is incredibly weird? I love this thing. That group of people did exist, and I'm sure they would have loved to have seen a Surface Duo 3.
Well, I would argue, based on how it seems like they conform to the regular like folding screen form factors, those people probably wouldn't love this, because the things they liked were the 360 hinge, so they could prop it up in different ways, the two separate screens being able to
lose that.
So it looks like by this, from the patent images, is we have a completely folding phone that opens up to flat, but as far as I can tell, does not go past 180 degrees. It has a screen on the front with a hole punch cutout. It has triple camera array in the back, kind of in the shape of a play button like the iPhone, but also with a huge camera bump like the Mi 11 Ultra, which everyone loved. And then it has this, I cannot tell if this is on magnets or rails, but it has this almost credit card shaped bump on the back that looks like
cool.
it pops out to be a kickstand, but then when it opens up to full, it slides over on a set of rails and then kickstands out. So you have that is neat.
That's kind of cool.
I think that's really cool.
That's worth a patent.
It is worth a patent. So
it would have been like a thinner Galaxy Z Fold with a cool sliding back plate accessory.
yeah, this would be really sick for like setting up at your desk, as similar to like Apple's what's the landscape mode thing?
Standby mode.
Standby mode. Like if this had a standby mode at my desk in this configuration with my calendar and stuff on it, and it was connected to Windows somehow, and
This is how they get you, Andrew.
this is how, well, they're not getting me
Every
because this I
time a
canceled a year
Surface
ago.
product, every time a Surface Duo thing gets announced, we all go, "Oh man, that's kind of cool." And
Well,
then it,
I'm allowed to say it now because I will never be held accountable for what I say for this thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I would have loved. I wish there's a prototype out here. I want to see what this thing on the back is. It looks like it's on a rail system, right?
Yeah, it does. Which I think is fine. That's cool. It means you never lose it.
Yeah. Can you put a case on this now though? If it's like permanently attached,
You'd need some crazy bespoke case.
which I'm sure Microsoft would make because they
Maybe.
made them for the Duo.
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't look that crazy. I'd kind of be into it.
Yeah, it's
But it's
way more normal,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
But it's just a patent now.
That's all it is.
Sad story.
Looks like they still, in that first image of the article, they still have a lot of these magnets that make it look like it closes, which was super satisfying on the Surface Duo. It looks very thin, and the flat edges, which was like the best part about the Surface Duo. But the No 360 hinge feels so much like they strayed away from what the original thing was, which was probably the route they needed to take because that wasn't working very well.
Yeah. Shout out to the hinge designers of the original Surface Duos. That was a good one. But we should take a break. We got a couple more headlines to go through and talk about. And also, I still need to find what I need to be mad at. So I'm going to think about that too.
Cool.
But of course, before we take that break, let's do some trivia.
I forgot.
Is this...
Yeah. So, in case you missed the bonus episode earlier this week,
It's happening.
we had James Carter, the host of PodQuiz, who just wrapped up his 1000th episode on. I interviewed him. He was great. And since he is the trivia master, he was kind enough to create 2 tech trivia questions to play on our normal episode this week. Not only that, since David's missing and Ellis is our trivia master, Ellis will be answering for David this week. Because one thing that James said in the interview was, as someone who loves to create trivia questions, he finds himself not very good at answering trivia questions at an actual trivia thing. So we're semi going to put Ellis to that test as well. And David, if he gets no points, you have Ellis to blame.
Perfect. I love that.
do my points go to David?
Yeah.
They do.
You're David.
No,
Should
no.
you
I
win
want,
any?
I want numbers on the board, baby. Let's
We'll
go.
also give you numbers on the board.
Yeah.
We'll match your... I will match whatever points that you earn for David for yourself.
All right, sweet.
All right. First question.
Hi there, I'm James from the PodQuiz podcast, and I've got a couple of questions for you. These are technology questions, but they also have an historical element to them.
Oh, no.
So the first one, question 1, In 1947,
Nope.
Harvard computer scientists claimed to have discovered the first computer bug when they removed a creature from a relay in the Harvard Mark II computer that had caused it to fail.
I know the answer.
What kind of creature was it?
God,
Oh, you
that's
guys
such a
don't
good
know?
question. I don't.
It's funny because when I heard this, I knew Ellis would know the answer.
I'm sure Ellis knows this answer.
I think this might be along the same lines of why Dead Mouse is called Dead Mouse.
I was exactly what I was thinking about
Okay.
as well, but
Cool.
that was a great question. Yeah, if you haven't heard the bonus episode, go back and listen to it. I thought it was pretty swell, but
Do you feel like you're in the car right now?
a little bit. I'm so happy that his voice is on our podcast.
It's pretty fun.
But yeah.
All right. Answers will be at the end, like usual. We'll be right back.
Support for this show comes from Meta.
Have a question or need how-to advice? Just ask Meta AI. Whether you want to design a marathon training program that will get you race ready for the fall, or you're curious what planets are visible in tonight's sky, Meta AI has the answers. Perhaps you want to learn how to plant basil when your garden only gets indirect sunlight. Meta AI is your intelligent assistant. It can even answer your follow-up questions, like what you can make with your basil and other ingredients you have in your fridge. Meta AI can also summarize your class notes, visualize your ideas, and so much more. The best part is you can find Meta AI right in the apps you already have: Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, and Messenger. Just tag Meta AI in your chat or tap the icon in the search bar to get started. It's the most advanced AI at your fingertips. Expand your world with Meta AI.
All right, welcome back. We've got a headline. Sorry, we've got a hat. I'm just going to keep it going. We've got a hat.
Send it.
You got headlines in it. I've got headlines in the. I'm going to start. No,
I'm just gonna pick. It's too late
Just
now.
pick the headline. Next headline in a hat.
All right. CMF new leak. All right, so
Well, this is a teaser.
teaser. Yeah, I'm so used to calling them leaks, then I forget that CMF is just straight up the ones teasing these, which last week you missed. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that first. But CMF teased a knob, some sort of rotary dial on their phone.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
This could go one of three ways.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this leak, this teaser render
This is the dial one.
of the CMF phone with a little flathead screwdriver going in and unscrewing
That's
something from the back of a
the
phone.
new one, yeah.
Yeah, this new one. CMF being like the ultra budget brand from nothing. This could either one be a throwback feature where you can actually open up the back of the phone and there's this flathead screw that holds the back in place and you open it up and then everyone goes nuts because we went back in time. Holy smokes, replaceable batteries. Two, this unscrews and does very little to like actually get into the back of the phone and you can't actually do anything, but you can like look in the inside or something.
Okay.
Or three, the screw comes out and nothing happens and it's purely decorative screw.
I hate to admit that I would still like that. I want the replaceable battery. That would be the best.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if, as a budget thing, they were like, okay, maybe our battery life's not that great, but you can add on batteries and just have replaceable batteries. That's one way to be like, okay, we're sacrificing battery life on this, but later on down the line, you can buy a new battery and maybe
cool.
have a backup one. I want to first off say, what? So did you see the dial or the knob leak from like a week ago? Hold on, let's bring that up. I want to see what you think about that. Okay, so this was the leak last week that David and I talked about. This is the like wheel, knob, dial, whatever you want to call it,
On the corner.
corner. We don't know which corner, so take your guess on which corner you think that is.
Okay. Top left.
I think that's what I was leaning towards.
Okay. It says introducing CMF Phone 1. So they're going to make a phone. Wonderful by design. Leveraging Nothing's innovation and meticulous attention to design, it serves as a wonderful entry point into the entire product ecosystem. And it's this picture of a dial. I feel like it could be, well, I have some ideas off the. It could be like
Okay.
a volume dial, but it's customizable to do other things in certain apps, which would be neat.
That would be
I
awesome.
guess. I don't think it does anything too crazy like open the phone.
No.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts of it? So I was wondering, putting something like this on something that's already going to be pretty budget. It's strange seeing sacrifices of things, but also adding something that's never been done to a phone. Are we going to see bigger sacrifices on things, or?
Yeah, I don't know how expensive this particular thing is. I feel like we're going to see this and it's going to be a kind of a cool thing, and then we're going to want a more premium version of it, and that gives them an excuse to sell a higher end or more expensive version on a nothing phone maybe someday in the future. Who knows? But I also think we kind of always ask for trying something new in smartphones, and we've seen so many phones that are the same, that look the same, and I think this being a little different and maybe actually functional is pretty cool.
I do too. I think this and the screw, even if, like you said, the screw does almost nothing, even if it just means I'm going to fidget around with my phone now at my desk, I'm still excited for it.
It could also be like a mounting point, like in a camera too, because you take it out and there's threads in there now.
True.
Or something else. Or you could put a bracket underneath. Like that's what I assumed it was like
That's
for
interesting.
mounting accessories.
Mounting something out of that, even if it's just like a lanyard ring or something like that.
Exactly.
Sure.
Pistol grip.
The pistol grip for it.
20 under there.
My main takeaway from this, also, the first tweet said community update on July 8th, and now this latest tweet says coming July 8th. I still don't know if it's going to be like launched on that date, if we're just going to get the announcement for it. Community update seems more like a post versus like an event, right?
Yeah, they seem like a unveiling type of company.
Yeah.
We're going to unveil it on this date.
Well, so I want to say these teasers, I think CMF teases things way better than nothing does. CMF is like beautiful render, interesting aspect of a phone, look it up at it up close working, and then nothing is like, here's a bug. And that's it.
Here's a high-res ladybug.
Yeah, like
That's fair.
I think CMF is doing nothing's job better than nothing. It's also confusing that they call it the phone one when the nothing phone one is already.
Yeah, so it's going to be, I guess this will be the CMF phone one. I've reviewed one CMF product so far. It was just a watch. The watch was $69. Is that what it was?
I think, yeah.
So at this price, like ultra budget, it really doesn't have a ton of margin, like literal margin, to experiment with new hardware stuff. So I wonder if you make a phone, number one, what price point do you actually aim for? Like the Nothing phone was only $400. So to really differentiate as a CMF phone, how cheap is it going to be? And then number two, what can you actually do in a phone that cheap that hasn't been done on every other $150 phone or whatever?
Knob and a screw.
That may be it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. What do you think if you had to guess price? If it has to be the budget version of Nothing, I think it can't be higher than $250.
I'm gonna go with my best prediction of the future is always from the past. So if the CMF watch was $70 and then the Nothing, there's no Nothing watch, but like a base
Man, a Nothing watch would look really good.
A base smartwatch is what, $150, let's say? So half the price. So this has got to be like a $175 phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they do the like I feel like almost every phone we've seen that cheap is cheap for an exclusive amount of time, so they can call it that cheap, and then goes up to like $220.
Exactly.
I could see CMF doing something like that.
I could see that as well. Because they're Nothing with a mask on.
Can I have like 2 minutes to redeem the Ellis rant we skipped earlier?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me
Give me like 2 minutes.
Oh, I
That's
just
all
pulled
need.
Ellis rant.
Oh, sweet.
Wow.
Sweet.
Nice.
All right. Am I good? Is someone keeping time?
You're good.
All right, sweet. Dude, we don't need this many knobs. Okay. They're just we just don't need them. Okay. And here is why. Okay. There are essentially like 3 kinds of knobs. Well, there's a few different kinds, but the big difference is a knob can be endless, meaning you can spin it all the way, or it can be fixed. It can have a beginning and an end point. The beginning and the end point knobs, which companies never use because they're cowards and are too busy to program healthy takeover modes into their firmware, which companies have done for a while now. The code's out there, just don't want to do it. Those knobs are great for controlling different parameters. You know what I mean? Because you know a knob is at a position, you know the value of that thing. The endless knobs can also work really well when they're stepped, when you feel a click and you know each increment. Because as soon as it's not clicked, and it's endless and you can scroll forever, there's no attachment between your brain and the parameter you're controlling. You're just moving it up and down. And for everyone in the office who's like, oh, Alice, I got a knob on my keyboard that I use to control the volume. Guess what? You use a Mac. There's 16 volume steps. Even if you're not feeling the knob clicked, that's a stepped endless encoder.
Yeah.
So get out of my face. Make your encoders stepped. Don't shut up. If you want a physical parameter control, put a fader on your device. We've known for years faders are superior to knobs. Yeah, they take up a little bit more space. Shut up. And final point, if you are like, I need a non-stepped rotary encoder, it's called a jog wheel. We established this like 20 years ago.
The mouse.
That jog wheels are the superior endless rotary encoder. It's why all video editors have one. I'm done. This is just stop it with the knobs.
Wouldn't a knob with a set amount of volume on a phone be the same stepping as a MacBook?
It's complicated because the Mac makes it really clear as you go up. Like you can see each of the 16 steps.
So if my volume slider went up and down as I rolled the wheel,
if you're not getting any feedback and the phone was trying to convince you that it was faking like potentiometer status and smoothly grading the amp up with an actual resistor, you would just get lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? I think, maybe like some of the old like Walkmans and CD players had but they weren't endless. They
They'd stop.
Yeah, they'd stop.
Yeah.
Stop it with the knobs.
I have two.
Stop it. And they break. The endless digital non-step rotary encoders are the first thing to break on every electronic.
You're over 2
ever.
minutes.
Shut up. Stop it.
So I have two other categories of knobs that I'm thinking of as you say this. And I think I agree with both of them in principle. So the first one, in my car, there is a stepped but finite knob for volume. Ooh. And it's hard on one side and hard on the other side, and there's a little dot, and you can only go up or down, and it's notched and stepped. Ooh. And it's great.
Sounds crispy.
I don't know if that's less likely to break or not. I don't remember. I guess we'll find out.
It doesn't matter. It's enjoyable.
It's great. No, it's great. It's built well. It clicks. It's nice. It's satisfying. But the other one I feel very strongly about, which is lenses.
Oh.
Lenses, if you've used a photo lens before, they have infinitely scrolling, like what's it called? What is it called? I'm forgetting the name.
Are you talking about
the ring, the focus ring?
Focus ring.
They have infinitely scrolling focus rings, but internally there are mechanisms that stop. So you can keep scrolling the focus ring, but internally they stop. So you can't actually assign like a follow focus to the ring because you can just keep spinning the ring and it would be all out of whack. But high quality cine lenses are stopped. So you can put a focus ring and a follow focus on this ring, and it will actually stop and
damn it,
always
you are
be
proving my
accurate.
point right now.
So I hard agree with lenses that they should be stopped.
It's the same thing with volume. If you can keep scrolling and the volume's not going up anymore, it's a meaningless physical connection to your device.
Yeah.
Shut up.
What's
The
a mouse
physical connection
scroll
is emotional. I don't care about what it's actually doing. I want to feel a click, boy.
I think you would feel
should
more
be able to
direct.
We're agreeing with each other. That's what I'm saying.
It's the directness of it when you feel the hard stop and it's the same amount every time.
Yeah, if you can keep spinning the knob and nothing is happening, you're not receiving any physical feedback. That is a one-way conversation between you and your device.
I want to bring something up, but I don't want to send this off.
Do it.
What is a mouse scroll wheel?
Infinite.
Because
although
the second step of the MX Master non-step counting one where I'm just on Reddit with infinite pages and I'm just, or like YouTube comments and I could just go and it just loads all the pages for me.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But I immediately step out of that into the stepped version when I'm normally using scroll wheel.
You specifically said that you were using it with infinite pages.
Well, it's not... there isn't an amount, but it takes a very long time to get to that amount.
I would also argue, specifically in the case of the MX Master 3, when you're on the free mode, you can feel the inertia. of the flywheel spinning inside.
True.
So there is physical feedback
Okay.
communicating the infiniteness of it.
It's the only thing I
I'm
like
right.
about the MX
I'm
Master.
right about this.
That is the best thing ever. YouTube comments trying to find something
Yeah.
and just
No,
sending
I'm gonna
that.
close. I'm gonna close it with this. Ready? I have an Arturia MIDI controller from 15 years ago. This thing is old and it's budget tech. I think it was like $90 when I bought it. Okay. Everything on that keyboard still works. Every single thing, even even like the touch strip, something that is, it all still works. Every single endless rotary encoder on there has broken. Every single one. It is the only part of that keyboard that has ceased
Makes you
working.
think.
There's like 30 of them on that keyboard and they all don't work. And it's not like the controller for them failed and all of a sudden they don't work. They all are messed up in their own stupid, jittery own way.
Coincidence?
Because it's a stupid, stupid component to put on anything.
A phone.
Well, doesn't everyone think that the knob doesn't even do anything on this? It's just for the lanyard?
No,
But
one really
let's say it
knows.
did do something. Do you think it would be stopped or infinite?
It better be stepped,
It's
man.
probably
I think it'd be
infinite. It's probably infinite.
It can be infinite
The rabbit.
as
We
long
just had
as
the
there are
rabbit.
steps.
The rabbit was infinite too. Yeah, it's going to be infinite.
No one wants to get compared to the rabbit, though.
Honestly, I might give the rabbit a pass.
What? Of all the
Oh,
wait,
no.
hold on.
Hold
wait.
on.
Yeah. No. I might give the rabbit a pass specifically on its knob.
It has the same number of elements every time.
I don't know.
should be
That just feels right.
Ugh.
I
All
don't know.
right, you just lost all the credibility for your entire.
The rabbit.
Okay, rant over.
That one was tough.
All right,
Get-
hat shaking.
No more knobs.
Hat shaken. I'm still trying to think of what to be mad about. That was a good rant though.
I feel like we need to go back
appreciate it.
and edit the if you don't feel like listening to this, jump to time code.
All right. Pixel event. We have, ladies and gentlemen, at least a date for the next Pixel event, and that is, let me just make sure I pulled it up because I tweeted it. Was it August?
Well, I feel like that's the funny part about it. It is so much different than what we're used to that you have to double check
Yeah.
what the date is.
I got the invite. You're invited to an in-person Made by Google event where we'll showcase the best of Google AI, Android software, and the Pixel portfolio of devices. August 13th. So now we know when that's coming. Now we know also when Samsung Unpacked is also happening, where we get the new foldables and probably the Ring and probably something else. So, yeah, devices. They're happening.
Everything's so much earlier. I feel
Slowly.
Samsung used to be end of August. Now it's mid-July, right?
Didn't the Pixel used to be October?
Yeah, the last year's was October 4th.
Huh.
It's so much different. This is now, and that's not just like a step back. This is a step back from a whole nother release. It used to be the release after the iPhone release.
Yeah, now it's before the iPhone.
Whoa,
Like
I
a
did
whole
not
month
realize this
before.
was the Pixel 9 event. This whole time, I thought it was just the watch.
Oh no, this is the Pixel
That's
9
crazy.
event.
Pixel portfolio devices. I assume this is Pixel 9, yeah.
Here's my theory. Start of August is usually when we just see the whole phone already.
They're getting ahead of the
They're just like, let's just do the event then. You all know what it is already.
It's been done for months. They might as well just send it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of getting leaked for 2 straight months before it comes out. That's a good idea.
Yeah, there were some. We've talked about leaks before. I think the biggest kind of change to the Pixel 9 that we're seeing is that the camera bump on the back isn't rolling over onto the side rails like it
I'm
used
going to
to.
miss that.
I like, if the renders are correct, I kind of like it because it also looks like it has flat edges as well.
So I like the flat edges part. I thought that, because this is what's happened. If you just continue extending what's happening here, it just turns into a regular camera bump, just like every other phone. I thought what made the Pixel was the visor.
I think they did a good job at keeping the visor vibe while also rounding the edges of it to fitting this like Pixel rounded edges vibe lately, or what that render looks like.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
it's still very Pixel, and you would still pick it out as a Pixel despite having a case on it.
You're right. I'm just hitting fast forward, and I just continue to see it, shrinking into just a regular old camera
The
bump.
crab theory.
Yep. It's an evolution. We're watching it in front of our very eyes. This is the first time it steps out of the water. Okay. It's still got the gills. It's fine, but it's going to be a tough couple years. No, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be a good looking phone with nice hard side edges, and I'll love it. And then, yeah, hopefully the software is good too.
Pixel 3 Watch.
Pixel Watch.
What do
3.
we? Pixel Watch 3. Yeah, sorry.
Assuming that you're saying that
I haven't
this comes out
seen
as well.
I haven't seen anything about it. What's one thing you would like to see in the new Pixel Watch?
Bigger size.
still round with like very curved edges like it's been?
Still love the form factor. I think they kept it one size for a reason, but I would like a larger size available for me. I would like a bigger screen and a bigger battery and bigger everything and a bigger watch.
What if same size, but the screen just extended out to the curve better?
It is already pretty good.
Is it?
I feel like pretty good. I mean, they do a good job of like blending it because the glass is so curved.
Yeah.
So it feels like it can't really get much further out.
What if it got around the curve?
Like the image itself?
Yeah, like the screen.
I mean, that'd be sick. But I'd still want it bigger because I want a bigger battery. I think the device needs a bigger battery.
That's what I want. I like the small size. I liked wearing it. It didn't feel clunky like this Garmin watch I love, but it's gigantic.
Yeah, I'm wearing an Ultra right now.
But the battery was terrible on it.
I want a 2-day battery life Pixel Watch. That'd be fire.
2-day battery should be standard on all smartwatches. Like legitimate 2-day.
It's a good take. It's a good take.
Hot take.
All right. I'm spinning the hat
That was a
back
quick
towards
one.
you. Still brainstorming my rant. I really don't have
How are
one.
you? New Motorola Razr
Oh, yeah.
that came out this week.
We just got, it's announced. Well, there's two actually, right? There's a new Razr and a Razr Plus. Razr Plus being the $999 flagship foldable with a larger outside cover screen. It's like a 4-inch outside cover screen now,
It's also 165 hertz LTPO.
which is cool.
Big
because you
screen
use it
upgrade.
a lot. I found that when I used the Razr, I liked that it was a big outside screen, but I'm not a person who ever like stayed on the outside screen. Even though I know that that's why it's supposed to be really good. You're supposed to be able to just open it, read a text, swipe over, clear a few notifications, check that one, read the first few lines of an email, and then put your phone away. I just open the phone.
I think
was
that's
just me.
why it's just like it's not a phone for you, but that screen seems like the reason why people like this phone, phone.
They're giving you all the right reasons to continue using it. More customization, 165 hertz LTPO. It's corner to corner. The whole thing's IPX8 water resistance,
That's
which is
huge.
cool.
Yeah.
And it's $1,000 for this phone. Couple cool colors too.
The colors are really sweet. What's cool is prices didn't change between the two.
Yeah.
And the regular version is now getting the 3.6-inch screen that the old Plus had because it used to be a 1.5-inch screen, I think, on the front. So now if you are getting the cheaper version, you can still have the benefits of the front screen while the Plus still gets a couple of small upgrades to the screen, which are also really nice. But these colors are great.
So the cheaper
Plus
Razr,
colors.
the cheaper Razr is now $699.
I think it's the same as last year.
Yeah. And it gets that new bigger screen. That's cool. Yeah,
I was under, like, in my own personal headcanon this whole time that we've been doing foldables, I've been kind of thinking that one form factor was going to win out. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's true anymore. Do you think we're just always going to have both form factors?
flip and fold.
The crumple phone, as Ellis wants?
I think the Fold is beating the Flip right now.
Really? In what? In popularity or just in evolution? Because I think flip's more popular.
That's a really good question. I see more about folding phones, but that's probably because of the like
where we are.
space, the bubble that we are in.
Yeah.
But you're probably right. I bet the Flip is probably more popular. I think the Flip makes more sense to everyday people, but I still can't believe how many folds I see. I played disc golf with someone who was keeping score on our card the other day, and he had a Samsung Fold, and I was like, interesting. I see them so much all the time, and I'm surprised they've gotten into hands so quickly.
It does feel like they are like crabbing into their own like several different crabs. Like they're all basically feeling similar to each other in flips, and they're all feeling similar to each other in folds.
Yes.
If that makes sense. So whoever makes the thinnest, most advanced fold, everyone starts chasing that one. And I feel like the Z Flip is the standard for flips, and they all kind of look more and more like each other there too.
Could it get thin enough to where it starts like this, it flips out to a regular size candy bar phone, but then this is now the front screen, and then it opens up like a book, and now you have the bigger inner screen?
That requires
Four
screens.
4 screens.
That's a lot of screens, and also it'd be pretty thick if it did that.
It's definitely in a prototype lab somewhere.
LG definitely has a prototype of that somewhere.
TCL's built that a few times already. They're like, how much thinner can we make this? Yeah, no, it's out there. It's a phone you can buy. I think you have to be on Verizon again because, it's Moto. That's how they roll. But yeah, shout out to the new Moto Razr.
out.
We should take one more break. We've got more headline in more hat, and we have more trivia to talk about.
Okay, next question from the pod quiz god himself, James Carter.
And question 2. The ARM processor is in everything these days. I'm sure we've all got them in our phones, in our pockets. ARM is an acronym. What does it stand for? And what did it originally stand for? It changed in around 1990.
Oh, y'all are done, bro.
This is
So what did it stand for, and what did it originally stand for?
2 points.
2 points.
2 points available. I won't be getting either.
I think David would have gotten the first part
I
of that.
suspect he would have gotten at least 1 point.
I suspect, yeah.
But now that it's Ellis,
I know what one of them is.
So maybe you'll get 1 point.
We'll do 2 separate points.
I'm not going to get it.
Do I have to tell you which one is the old one and which one is the new one? Okay, cool.
Whoa.
I'll call James.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we'll do some thinking.
Yeah, you guys better be thanking your lucky stars that I'm not answering trivia questions every week, because I'd be out here balling.
Well, you do make them. Okay. Yeah, we'll think about it. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to our final stage of headlines in a hat. I said it right that time. I'm
Good
proud
job.
of that. Okay, here we go. This says Galaxy Watch Ultra. Now, this is a natural evolution because
Yes.
Samsung does what Apple does when it works well.
That's
And
not what that says.
that's not what this
No, I'm
says.
joking.
But yeah, I'm wearing an Apple Watch Ultra, and Samsung went, "Wait, you're saying we can charge $1,000? Not that they don't already do this, but you can charge $1,000 for a watch if we just give it a ton more battery and features, and it's just the same thing as one we already make." Cool, great.
They already had the Pro.
They already have $1,000 smartwatch.
Yeah.
But they need to just sort of, they're so tempted by the Ultra thing. I get it. They have an Ultra phone already. Why not? 47 mil.
You know, it does make more sense for them to call it the Ultra versus the Pro because that follows the phone naming scheme.
Yeah.
Have you seen the leaks for this yet? Or the renders? Well, so first of all, the reason we know that it's called the Galaxy Watch Ultra and that it has LTE and is 47 millimeters is Samsung accidentally posted a support page post about it saying that and then took it down very quickly. But of course, we found it. Not we.
95
People-
Google found it.
I think
91
9 to 5
Mobiles found
Google
it.
9 what?
91 Mobiles found it.
91 Mobiles found it. Yeah. But have you seen these renders? Because these were all over Twitter the other day, but I think you were out, so you may have missed this. But the design of this has got a lot of people talking.
Really? Why? It looks fine.
You think it looks fine?
Yeah.
People seem to have very polarizing opinions on this. Do you want to describe it for our...
It's kind of like a squared off
It's a
circle.
squircle.
Yeah, it's a squircle, kind of like
It's
the Apple Watch Ultra.
It's a squircle with a circle, though.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's a good observation. So the screen itself is a circle and has a circular bezel, but then the frame around it is more of like a squared off circle, probably to just have more room inside for battery and things like
Yeah.
that. I'm fine with it. That looks fine to me.
Orange dial as well, which is very Apple Watch Ultra, but also probably my favorite part of the Apple Watch Ultra is the orange accent. I've gone back and forth on liking this or disliking this. I kind of just wish it was the squircle shape without the circle on the inside.
Yeah, I would have liked more screen coverage on the front. But then again, I think all of Samsung smartwatches are circles, if
They
I'm
are.
not mistaken.
Yep.
So they're just keeping with that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it and I dislike it. I've also been recently thinking of switching back to a Samsung watch. My problem is I need more battery, which maybe this will have. I feel like I love my Garmin watch. I've been using this for like a year and a half now. It I bought it because of all the health metrics and everything, and I seem to not care about them as much. But now I've gotten to the point where I need the notifications on my wrist, and I check the time so often. I hate my phone being on vibrate or ringer, so I need something buzzing me for calendar or tasks or text messages. This is really bulky.
Did you just say tasks?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I'll just let that slide, but I'm proud of you.
Tasks.
That's
Thanks.
awesome.
Thank
Okay,
you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
This feels bulky. I think the Samsung watches look nicer. The battery watch is a problem. I've also thought about doing no watch because this watch tan is getting terrible.
Yeah, it's hot out here.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I might try out the new Samsung watch, whatever it comes out, because I am using a Samsung phone now. I did like my Galaxy Watch before. I think they're some of the nicest looking ones. I want to see this in person, not versus a render, and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
But it is also just going to be big and bulky like my Garmin, and I kind of want something smaller.
Yeah, I think David was saying he did not like the way this one looked, and I kind of really do like it.
Yeah, same.
Oh.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not polarizing, and David just gaslit me into thinking that it is super polarizing.
Well,
It looks
is
like a watch.
It does. I mean, it seems like it's only slightly bigger in display than the current max size watches you can get from Samsung, but the biggest known benefit to more chassis size is just here's some more room for battery.
Yeah.
Like it's just, if that's what you're after, that is what it probably will offer. But I guess TBD, because it was just a leak and then disappeared.
Well, yeah, this is a render, so this wasn't even part of the leak, so it might not even be what we're seeing. Yeah, it is slightly bigger. The Galaxy Watch Pro is 45 millimeters, so that will be a touch bigger, and I'm assuming the 47 is the screen size, not the squircle size.
Right.
Yeah, I think I get why it's a little weird that it's a circle inside of a squircle, but it is, like you said, we always say, hey, can our phones just be a little bit thicker so we can have some better battery life?
Yep.
So if that means this has over 2 days of battery life, which I still think is the minimum that I want, I'll be really happy about it.
You'll get 1.5 and you'll be thankful.
I will, and I
More
won't.
realistic. All right.
So yeah, we'll see that very soon, right?
If it comes out at Unpacked, then
Oh.
yes. If it doesn't, then maybe sometime later this year. We'll see.
Huh.
It could be at Unpacked.
I hope we see it in July.
Word. Well,
Cool.
it's your turn to pick a headline. And I have a hat. There are headlines in it.
All right. This isn't a headline. This is just the Ioniq 6N we have at the office.
Oh, the 5N.
It's the 5N.
Yeah, Ioniq 5N.
Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Oh, man, we have the 5N. It's kind of sick. But it's not like
How did you describe
practical.
it to us yesterday?
Okay, if the Ioniq 5N. So I've talked about the Ioniq 5. We've made a video about it. The Ioniq 5N is their sportier version, maybe even a track version of the Ioniq 5. Makes some sacrifices. It also straight up pretends to be a gas car. And I don't know if you realize how far it goes to try to pretend to be a gas car, but it is one of the most fun and funny car experiences ever. Because when you think about it, okay, what are the advantages of an electric powertrain over a gas powertrain? Typically, it's one gear, maybe two gears. So you have this relentless pull of instant torque and then just pulling you forward. That's what all the most powerful, fastest, quickest electric cars have done. The Ioniq 5N has a mode that emulates a gas car, a gas powertrain, a 7-speed gearbox, and literally has paddle shifters and an engine sound. So you can pull through gears, and it acts like a gas car through all of the gears, meaning it's slower at lower RPMs, it builds torque at higher RPMs. You can redline it, which means you missed a shift and it will slow down and you'll feel the shifts as you're driving.
It kicks you when you do a heavy shift.
it kicks you.
you literally, you feel like
Yeah. And it inserts all of this with the control of the electric motor. So yes, it is slower than it could be if it just drove like it normally could, just flat out. But it's the engagement, it's the feel, it's the sounds. And boy, are the sounds. There are some serious sounds.
Do you know what this reminds me of? My friend's dad, when we were kids, used to pull up to like nice looking cars at stoplights with like a Dodge Caravan full of kids. And he used to rev the engine, and then he used to fake shift and like make noises with his mouth.
Oh my God.
And this sounds like the EV version of that.
Basically,
I
yeah.
still do that.
You still
It has a speaker inside the cabin that is specifically over your shoulder so that it sounds like it's coming from where the exhaust would be coming from. And there's also a speaker outside of the cabin that you can turn on or off so that when you're driving, when you're banging through gears, you actually have people outside you hear what you're hearing.
I really
This is all true.
I really appreciate that you can turn it on inside the cabin and off outside the cabin, so you can you can do it. I think you should have to make the commitment of if you're listening to it inside, you have to pretend to play it outside.
It's funny. There are so many cars that like pump more sound into the cabin so that you can hear them. Like the i8, BMW i8, it's kind of like a quiet car, but they pump so much sound into the cabin that you would think your car's super loud because you want to hear it, but it's not that loud. This is kind of the opposite. It's like, yeah, I want people to hear more than they actually have to. Let's just blast everything. Yeah. There are 3 modes.
There are 3 modes.
The first one sounds, I think, the most like a normal car. It's got this low grumble.
Wait, I believe that's mode 2.
I think the first one, the top one.
The one with the grumble. You're talking about this one?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's number 2. I could be wrong about that.
Wait,
though.
let me hear the first one.
The first one sounds like this.
Oh, okay. That's
The first one is the one that has the shifts that sound like this.
okay. Okay, yeah. The other one with the grumble sounds the most
sounds like a
like a
V8.
regular car.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think they were telling me it's based on the Elantra N. Actually, no. I think the behavior is based on the Elantra N, not the sound. The behavior, the way it pulls through like a 7,750 RPM red line and has, I think, either a 7 or 8 speed gearbox. I'm not going to get all this right off the top of my head, but it behaves like the Elantra N, which is kind of hilarious.
This is an electric car.
Yeah. This is how it sounds when you accelerate.
And when the car shifts, you feel it. It's like not, and I don't know if it's actual like haptics or if they're just using the speakers in the car, but when you switch into that mode and you begin to hear the low engine rumble, you feel the car vibrate like there's a V8 in there. Mm-hmm. It's silly.
It just sounds like you're driving a Forza simulator.
A really good one
Yeah,
that
like
actually
a
goes down the
sick one.
street. Yeah, it's fully electric and it fully commits to that sound. The other 2 sounds, however, don't really sound like a normal gas car. I'll let you hear them. Kind of weird.
That's a little.
I think you could get used to them, but they sound more like a video game.
Listen to these
I mean,
shifts.
the other one sounds like a video game.
Miles said it best. The in mode 1, the sound of the gears shifting is the same sound you get if you hit a Cybertruck with a sledgehammer.
Just slamming through gears.
Sounds like giant robots are attacking.
Yeah, that's so aggressive.
It's so funny.
I think that one could fool me. It even has a little burble when you let off.
Yeah, this one. Also, sorry everyone for the shaking. Clearly, the shock mount on our binaural mic is not good enough for these raucous launches.
I would love to know in the comments, for those of you who have made it this far, who is this car for? Who is the Ioniq 5N, an electric car, fully masquerading as a gas car? What is the customer that goes, I love banging through gears, hearing the sounds, feeling the forces, and taking my car to a track, but it's got to be electric? Or is it, I want an electric car, but I want to take it to the track, and also I want to feel all these things, so why do you want an electric car? I don't know who the person is.
I feel like taking it to a track is the place you would get made fun of the most for doing, having fake sounds coming out. But also it'd make a really funny video of just like showing up to track day with it. The car looks, by the way, awesome.
It looks fantastic.
I love it.
It's got a good sized back seat. It's kind of like a fast hatch type of size. It's also very similar to the EV6 GT. It's like 200 miles of range tops.
Yeah,
like it's not the most practical car in the world, but it is a fun car.
It's
really
fun. I wish you should be able to import in sound packs so you can replicate like a WRX or.
Wait,
There's no way Hyundai's gonna let you do that, but maybe someone will find a way to bring in like Forza sounds and replicate some different kinds of cars. That would be really fun. It's like you're the impression person now. Do you know like the guy that like breathes into the can and does all the different cars,
different engine sounds?
Yeah. Your car could do that for you.
That would be.
Or you could do that guy's sound. What if you could use that guy's sounds in the cans? As
and
your car
drive by, and you just hear that guy's voice as he drives down the street. That would also be crazy. I kind of love that idea. I know they would never do it because Hyundai doesn't have enough cars that sound like that. They wouldn't do another car, but I love that idea. Wow. Okay, that was the second. Is it my?
I think there's one left. Yeah,
my pull.
Pull it.
Final headline and a hat. It says Rivian. And what we're referring to is a Volkswagen Group investing, was it $5 billion in Rivian? Which honestly isn't much news, but it is good news if you're a Rivian fan, because that means they get an injection of capital. If you're a Rivian stockholder, that means they're more likely to be around longer.
If you have an R2 reservation, if you feel more confident that it will get to that point.
Great point. R3 is that much more likely to eventually come around. All good news. Yeah,
I do think it's a little interesting because we always talk about who will win this race of software companies making a great vehicle or legacy car manufacturers making good software. And now they are going to partner up with that architecture and use it on some future cars, which they say within the second half of this decade. So it sounds like Volkswagen's going to get some help on the software side from Rivian based on what they've learned because they've made it this far and seem to be doing a pretty good job. So this was not something I was fully expecting, even though Rivian's gotten investments from like Ford. I think they were supposed to build a Ford SUV at some point, but that never happened. So it's great for Rivian. I think it's good for Volkswagen as well, because now hopefully
Volkswagen Group owns so many car companies. Yeah. I don't know if you know, like they own Porsche, Audi, Lamborghini, like across the board, and they make tons of different types of cars. So I mean, this just feels like yet another feather in their cap of like, oh yeah, we're gonna also make Rivians. That's another thing we work with them on. Cool, great. I don't know. I'll see what the announcements are that come out of this, and when they actually start making new models, that would be cool to see. But yeah, I just think it makes the ones that they've already announced that much more likely to eventually actually come out. Which is great.
If you're a Rivian fan, this hopefully should be good as long as they're not stepping on any toes over at Rivian. But
question about this, because we were talking about this I think last week with the Fisker news, where let's say somewhere down the line Rivian doesn't make it and they are no longer a company. What happens to the Rivians? Like, I want an R3. If I get an R3 eventually when that comes out and then the company goes belly up, what do I do with my car?
There's a couple things that change when a car company goes under. The most obvious one is service. Who services your car? Don't know. You just drive it till something breaks and then you fix it yourself, or your car is cooked.
That's what Miles was saying, though. You can't really do that with like an EV.
It's so much harder.
Yeah, you can't really go under the hood. Like if something just breaks on the inside, you're fine. But if something like fundamentally has an issue with your powertrain on an EV, that's the end if you can't service it. So that is a concern. But then there's other things like software updates. Do they continue to get software updates or support? Or if they stop getting updates and there's some sort of an attack or something, what happens then? I don't know. There's also charging network, and this is a little simpler because they should all have the ability to, with an adapter, plug into any Tesla supercharger. But before that, it was even weirder because if you don't have access, and Rivian has those chargers that are theoretically no longer maintained because they go belly up, then where do you plug in? Only Electrify America. That's a bummer. Yeah, it's not a good look when the product maker disappears.
It's definitely tougher because like even with Tesla being the most popular EV right now, if you have to get your Tesla fixed at like a non-Tesla service center, like a mechanic, still parts are way more scarce compared to like legacy manufacturers, and not every mechanic is able to do it. So if you're something like a Fisker, if you brought a Fisker into a mechanic right now, they would be like, Sorry, man. I can't help you. Like, nothing's going to happen here. Even if you probably brought a Tesla into a lot of them, they would be like, I don't know if I can do this. And they're far more popular than anything else. So, yeah, it's a tough spot. If Rivian went belly up, which I hope they never do, you're in a bad spot. Everyone with a Fisker right now is probably very worried that and hopes nothing happens
sort of
to their car.
Ticking clock on how long you can drive that thing.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't find anything to get mad about. So I guess I'm mad about that.
There you go.
Wow. Nice.
Great job.
There it is. I found something. Let's do trivia.
I get a board this time.
Oh, yeah.
All right. First question. I'm just going to play James again.
So the first one, question 1. In 1947, Harvard computer scientists claimed to have discovered the first computer bug when they removed a creature from a relay in the Harvard Mark II computer that had caused it to fail. What kind of creature was it?
Andrew staring blankly into space.
I don't know how to draw it. I was going to try and draw it.
I drew one. I don't think it's accurate, though.
I am sitting in David's seat, so it would be canon for me to do a terrible drawing.
Material
And you have to write in cursive.
Tilt brush.
Cursive. I don't think David does either. So
Material theme editor.
I get to flip a board. This is so crazy.
Ooh, flip him and read. What do you guys got?
Oh,
So Ellis, what did you say?
I said fly.
Andrew?
roach.
Marquez?
Roach.
Okay, and the answer.
And I asked what creature was extracted from the Harvard Mark II computer, making it the first real computer bug, and that was a moth.
Oh, none of you got it. It was a moth.
I think that makes
so
it-
confident.
I was trying to think of what bug would be in a house, and a moth makes so much more sense.
It was a
than-
moth.
I had to assume Harvard people wouldn't have roaches for some reason.
No, they do. Boston, yes, they have roaches.
Damn.
Right? Shots fired.
Watch me get these next two wrong too, and all my confidence go out the window.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I forgot you said you definitely knew the answer to that.
I thought he would know that one. That's like fairly popular computer trivia.
I was ballparking it.
Yeah,
you know?
you're close. You're
yeah, moth, fly, bee.
Okay, now let me find
Question
a second one
two.
real quick. Hold on.
Wait, I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry, I'm so used to being where you are.
All right, and now the second question.
The ARM processor is in everything these days. I'm sure we've all got them in our phones, in our pockets. ARM is an acronym. What does it stand for? And what did it originally stand for? It changed in around 1990.
Again, 2 points up for
The
grabs.
acronym is ARM. I just want to confirm that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Google Bulletin.
I can't even make up a fun
YouTube
one, and I have to make up
leanback.
2.
Message Center. Works with Nest API. Hangouts on Air.
I did that.
YouTube Gaming.
I did Hangouts.
I only have one.
I did Hangouts on air.
Wow,
All right.
the seat got to you.
Yeah.
You were
The
very
pressure.
confident until you had to get into the hot seat, and then
I knew I had one, but I didn't know it ever changed.
All right. Flip him and read. What do you got?
Marquez, you go first.
Gobbledygook. I wrote actual real messages,
Okay.
which is wrong. And then I wrote ARM instruction manual, which is also wrong.
I could use an arm.
Wait, I like.
Andrew, what did you write?
Hold on. The
Yes,
instruction
A recursive.
is an I with the R's in the middle.
Yes, it's exactly right. Yeah.
I like that.
I did.
Yeah.
I wrote architect random memory.
Okay. Sure.
I put advanced risk machine.
Ooh.
C?
Risk with a C.
What does that stand for?
It's another acronym. It stands for Reduced Instruction Set Chip.
There's an acronym inside an acronym?
There
You
is.
damn Skippy.
Jesus.
And you would
Wow.
this has been a trivia question before too.
What has?
What does risk stand for?
Oh.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't have gotten that either.
All right. The answer to the second question.
And for number 2, I asked what the ARM acronym was. These days it is the Advanced Risk Machine.
Let's go.
but the ARM processor was originally developed by a British computer company called Acorn Computers, and it was originally the Acorn RISC machine.
Oh, fun fact.
Cool.
All
That's
right.
interesting branding.
So David gets one more point. Ellis
Wait, we're
on the
doing
board
that?
with a point. Yeah, you're for David.
All right. Sorry I didn't get you 3, David.
So the score after this is Marques still with 11. Wah, wah.
Dang.
Andrew with 12.
I wanted that mall.
You were tied with David.
I want last
at
week's
12.
questions.
David now has 13. And Ellis on the board with 1.
Let's go.
Carry
Carrying
it,
the
baby.
one now?
I'm literally carrying the one. Also, James was like, it's hard, if you write trivia questions, you can't answer them. I guess I only got a third of them right. So maybe that is kind of true.
Greater than 0. Greater than 0, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes this episode of Headlines in a Hat. This was a good hat. It was good headlines. Good trivia. Thank you, James.
Yeah, thank you, James.
Shout out to that whole episode if you go watch it. It's another good one, another banger bonus episode, but we'll be back with the regularly scheduled programming. And of course, that means we'll be back next week. So until then, catch you later. Peace.
Waveform is produced by Adam Molina and Ellis Rovin, this time with additional trivia from James from PodQuiz. We are part of the Vox Media Podcast Network, and our intro-outro music is produced by Vane.
Shut up, Ellis!
So. Only Jono and I grew up with bagged milk.